of you ever felt empty? Have you? Have you ever felt empty? Well, I want you just for a second to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to design in your mind your perfect life. Imagine that you design that image that you've always wanted for yourself. You managed to study something you've always wanted to study. And you got yourself a really good job. And if not, well, you did a business of your own based on something you were passionate about. And you started your own company, and people really wanted to work for you because your ideas and your dreams were so big that people wanted to follow you. You even had a list of trainees saying, hey, I want to work with you for free, please. And then you start growing, and your ideas are so good that you start being interviewed in magazines, and you start winning awards for your new projects, and more magazines and books, and then suddenly you buy a house. The house you've always wanted, with a garden, with fruit trees, even butterflies. I mean, everything looks staged. You even had your house designed by an actual designer. And you married the love of your life. And in the end, you had 2 children. Fantastic. They love you. They're sweet. They're loving. They're always supportive. My goodness, that is incredible, isn't it? Isn't it? And guess what? After all that, after 20 years of working your butt off, you feel empty. Empty. Ouch. Ouch. What I just described was my own life. My own life. I studied what I had always wanted. I did what I wanted. I even married the love of my life that I met when I was 16. I did have those 2 children. I do have that house. I do have butterflies. And when I was 45, I felt lost and I felt empty. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, I had to open my eyes. There was something wrong. There was something wrong. I mean, what was missing in that beautiful equation I had once designed in my life when I was 20? Now everything seemed perfect. Why was I unable to feel gratitude or happiness or feel fulfilled with all the achievements I had had? Everybody would have died to be in my shoes. You know, like, whoa, with this recognized designer in books and everything. And yet, there was nothing there. So sometimes I think, what am I really here for? Don't you ever think about that? What are you really here for? What am I really here for? What are you really here for? Is there something more to all that? There has to be, shouldn't there? And then something happened. Several things happened. 3 things happened that just turned my life around when I was 40, that made me redesign the way I think about things. And the first one was that my father fell ill, and I took him to the hospital. And I thought, oh, this is just something quick. We'll be here by night. And I never thought that would be the last day I would speak to him. And while I was there, I was so lucky, so lucky, that the nurse came and said, you are not going back with your father, so you better say goodbye. She said, I'm not going back with him. I have to say goodbye. I said, what a lovely chance, because how many times are we given that chance to actually be able to say goodbye? Sometimes you don't have a chance. So I could witness one of the most incredible moments in my life was to see my mother that had been married to my father for 59 years. And she said goodbye to him. And she got his hand and sat next to the bed and stroked his hand and said, thank you. Thank you for being the love of my life. Thank you because I treasure each and every second I've lived with you. Thank you for giving me 3 fantastic kids. And thank you for Thank you for following your dreams. Thank you for being an incredible man. Thank you for being an incredible husband. Thank you for always standing up for your crazy, crazy ideas. He was a crazy engineer, and he was a wonderful, stubborn one. So he went with all his crazy ideas that never really worked, but he was always happy to achieve them. And if it didn't work, he would get up again and start again. And she said, thank you. Thank you for fulfilling everything. Thank you for touching the heart of everybody around you. Thank you for looking at the people in the eye and saying, hey, what's your name? Who are you? How can I help you? And she said that, and the nurse came and she said, hey, his blood pressure has gone down to 35/10. He's leaving. And in that instant, my sister ran to him and said, Daddy, 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 you can't leave yet. You can't leave yet. You can't, because my brother's coming from Canada and he has to say goodbye. And if you leave now, he won't ever forgive himself for not being able to be here to say goodbye. So please, please hold on. So I can imagine he was sort of like going towards the light. And suddenly my brother came. He sang to him, he prayed, he cried, he thanked him, he closed his life cycle. And as my brother walked out of the hospital, my father went with him. I think it's amazing how someone in a coma, could actually change someone's life just by holding on a little bit longer. He was about to leave. He came back. His blood pressure went up and stayed and waited for him. Wow. Can you imagine if someone is about to die and he can come back and change someone's life and say, sorry, I still haven't finished. Okay, done. And then you can go. No? Imagine what we are able to do with all our senses, with all our knowledge, with everything we can do. And yet, I realized after this, I said, oh my God, on top of everything, you work for 25 years, you work for 60 years, and then you die. So if you don't know what you're here for, in the end, you die. Sorry for the spoiler. In case you didn't know, we will. So we die in the end. So in the end, our time is limited and we exchange that time for something that is meaningful and that matters to you. But we die, so we have to be quick. And the question came again, what on earth am I here for? Because when I realized at 45, it was like getting an hourglass and turning it around. It's like, my goodness, I'm not going to live more than 100. So I'm already living the second half of my life. So I really have to get my show together and see what is it really that makes life tick. And then something happened incredible. I was doing a project in the Mayan Riviera. And I was having lunch with a client, and a friend of his arrived and sat in front of me. And I was just so impressed with this man. And I just looked to him. And as he spoke, he was just like a magnet. And I was thinking, what is it about this man? And I was there sitting like, look at him. What is it with you? And then at the end, I walked up to him and I said, please, tell me your secret. What is it? You look so peaceful. And my mind, being the mind of a designer, is always, always running. It's like a little hamster. It's like overstimulated with one thing and then stimulated with something else, And I was in the Mayan Riviera and I was thinking about 100 million things. And this man there sitting in front of me was just so peaceful. And I said, please, tell me your secret. So he said, I think he liked that. So he said, I am going to give you a gift. I said, oh, that sounds good. He says, I'm going to give you a gift. And he pulled out a serviette and he pulled out a pen and he wrote a word. And he says, I am going to give you a word that is going to change your life. It's sort of like, it sounds like do, 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 do. So he did. So he gave me that serviette, and it was, I was so excited. He said, my goodness, 50 years. And someone can give me a word that is going to tell me what my life or the reason for my life in a word. So I looked it up. I looked it up in the internet, and it turned out to be a 10-day silent retreat. Okay, so how about that for a creative mind? Okay, so you have to shut up, you have to be quiet, you have to not talk to anybody, not touch anybody, not do anything, no cellulars, no mobiles, no pens, no papers, nothing, just you, just me, myself, and I. Sitting and meditating for 14 hours a day for 10 days, 144 hours of meditation. Now, please don't get me wrong, I am not a yogi. I had never, ever meditated before, and to be honest, I haven't since. Those 144 hours were about the most of meditation I will do for my lifetime. So I did manage to meditate, sit and meditate as gracefully as I possibly could. Now, there were people there that didn't move an inch, and I had pillows here and pillows everywhere because everything would go numb, after 14 hours. But while I was there, something incredible happened. I don't think we're ever long enough with ourselves. Ever. There's always some kind of interface between us and everything around us. But being with yourself, with you and your mind, for 144 hours, day and night. So I went there thinking, okay, come on, I have to find out what I'm here for. If 144 hours of being with myself won't tell me, then I don't know what. So something did happen. I came up with this incredible vision that really gave me goosebumps, that I felt elated. It was like, wow, I found it, eureka, I know what I'm here for. And I had this wonderful image, and for me that image was like the summary of our own lives. So I couldn't write, I couldn't draw, I couldn't do anything, but while I was there, I could imagine the story, I worked it out, I could imagine the colors, and when I finished and I was allowed to get home, I sort of ran, please give me a pen, give me paper, I want to draw, I want to take what I feel in my heart and put it on a piece of paper. And this is the image, this is what I imagined. I saw the image and the life of a rose. And the rose was born in the middle of the pavement. And sometimes I feel how many of our lives are like that we wished it would have been different, or with someone else, or in another place. And we feel that we are born in the middle of the pavement, alone, sometimes. And someone didn't see her and stepped on her and broke her in two. How many of us have ever felt that we've been stepped on and that our stems have been broken and that we feel that we will never, ever be able to stand again? How many of us? And then, isn't there always someone that comes and maybe will take off his shoelace or her shoelace to help you stand again and tie you up and say, you can do it, you can continue. I'm here. Come on, you can do it. And you keep on growing. With a little stick, with a sort of like half-broken stem, with a little stick and something tying you up together. But you keep on growing. And then a hungry, horrible, hairy caterpillar comes and starts eating your petals. How many faces can you put on that caterpillar? How many? I bet you can all be I know you're imagining someone. Someone's face is on that. How many times have we been abused of? Have we been eaten, consumed? How many times? And yet, we keep on growing. And the rose keeps on growing with a broken stem, with half-eaten petals. But then something happens. The rose starts growing growing spines where she has had wounds. Why? Because you don't ever want to be vulnerable again. You don't ever want to be hurt, do you? So wherever you've been hurt, you always draw a line and you say, okay, I'm going to draw a line, and if someone dares touch me again, they're really going to get picked with my spines. So you start growing and you start building your protection so you never get hurt again. But you still have half-eaten petals and half-broken stem. But you keep on growing until the most wonderful moment in her life appears, which is the moment she blooms. That's what she's living for. She doesn't think, oh, well, no, I don't have any petals, and they're not perfect. So what's the point of blooming? I don't need to bloom. She doesn't think about that. She just blooms because that's her nature. That is her nature. And what happens when we bloom? What happens when this rose blooms? What happens is that people come and they say, oh, wow, this smells so beautiful. It's so beautiful. What is it? And you come close and your life is somehow sweetened or changed by the smell, by her essence. And that person will take that essence somewhere else, and her day will change, and she will change something in her life because of that essence. And then a butterfly comes, and the rose says, hey, I remember you. Hey, aren't you that hairy, hungry, horrible caterpillar that came to eat my petals? He said, yes, and thank you. Thank you because of your petals I was able to become a butterfly. I was able to grow. And now that I've grown and changed, and I'm sorry for what I did for you, but now I've come back to help you. And I've come to spread your seed with my wings. So how many times has something horrible happened to us? And in the end, it just makes us stronger. It makes us wiser. No, it makes us more empathic with everybody else. So those butterflies, those caterpillars, might not be that bad after all. And then when we grow and the wind comes and we want to spread our seed like the rose, well, sometimes that wind also tears part of our petals. So growing hurts, and sharing makes you vulnerable, and that hurts too. But we grow, and then we start dropping our petals one by one, and these petals start falling around you, just like in the life of a rose. And one day, with a broken stem, the rose falls asleep. But there's something magical that happened. And it's that all the rest and all the world around her has changed because she dared to bloom. She dared to bloom in spite of everything, in spite of herself, in spite of the conditions. And that's, for me, like a resemblance of our own lives. So, what are we here for? What are we here for? What are we here for? Eureka! It might seem so simple. We are just here to bloom. We are here to bloom. We are here to bloom wherever you may be planted, with whatever conditions you have, with whatever you have, with the knowledge you have, with the situation you have. If you have all your petals are eaten, well, that's what you have. And if you have a half-broken stem, that's what you have. That is what life is about. We are here to bloom and to help others bloom. To help others bloom. And how do we help them? We help them in 3 different ways. And I want to challenge you today. I want to challenge each and every one of you here today. I want to challenge you to think of 3 ways in which we're going to make this happen. This happen. There is one thing. We have to make a difference. That's all. That's all we have to do. Make a difference. We have to bloom and make a difference in 3 different levels. The first one is that we have to make a difference in our own lives, with ourselves first. Yes, oxygen mask, put your oxygen first and then you help someone else. You have to bloom first. So where do we start? Find by thinking, what What would you do if nobody paid you? What do you do when nobody's looking? What makes you passionate about things? What do you really want to do? What burns your heart? What is that little whisper in your soul? What is it that makes you unique? What is it people come and ask you, hey, I need help. I need advice from you. Please tell me something. That is your uniqueness. People can sense that and will come and ask you. And you have to find that uniqueness. That is the most important thing you have to do, is find that passion, that thing that makes you different in this world. And once you find it, you have a responsibility of growing it, of making it bigger so that it's shareable, so that it's bigger for you to give away. And the next point, once you know what you have to do, is that you have to share it. You have to share it with your family and with your friends. How can you make a difference with your family and your friends? What can you say to them? Thank you, sorry, I am here for you now, today. We're talking today about small steps that will change our future. What small steps? We don't have to be something greater than who we are. We just have to impact the heart of someone that is next to you, in your family, now around you. And once you do that, yourself, friends and family, the third step is society. How can you help make a difference in society? How? With your talents. What is your talent? I have engineers, architects, people that look after hotels, that change the life of people when they need a place to go and retire for a few days. People that help, coaches that help you sort your mind out to know how to find your way again. We help society through our talents. All the people that have spoken here have spoken about their talents. And now it's a moment to develop those talents and give those talents away. And do you know why? Because our world really, really, really needs us. Our world needs you. And our world needs you to develop, to be brave and bold, and to dare to stand up and be vulnerable, to not worry to fall and break, and give yourself away to society, because we really need it. So in the end, what do we need to do? 1, bloom. Bloom, live to bloom every single day, every single instant. What can I do today, now, this instant, to make a difference? How can I do it with my work? And do you know why? Because we have to dare beyond our purpose, because our world really, really, really needs us. Thank you.